Hello everyone, this is Foxhound coming back again with another video. So today I'm going to do what I have been told if I can do it so many times. I'm going to try to do a first tier list of strike fighters. This is just a small disclaimer. First of all, this is not going to be the final video that I will be doing about this. So take this with a grain of salt, right? This is just the beginning. This is work on progress, work that is going to continue improving with the feedback of you guys. A couple of other things. I am not going to include all strike fighters of the game. I'm just going to include around 15. I think it's just a little bit more. Some of them, yes, I'm not all of them, I have used. You have seen videos of me trying a couple of these, and the reason why is because I wanted to do this tier list. So, again, this is a disclaimer, this is my list. If you disagree for one reason or another, put on the comments, not I disagree, rather say I think this strike fighter should be included in the list, or lower or higher, for these reasons. So we can discuss about it, not just say I don't agree and whatever. No, just mention why. Okay, very important. Okay, so I'm going to kick off on the list with a couple of mentions over here. First of all, I'm going to check the, let's see, Eternard over here. Eternard. This was a free fighter that we got, strike fighter. It's French. Beautiful, it's free. It can do the initial damage that you needed to do at the very beginning of the match, right? So yeah, it is good. The only problem with this is that you need to get close in order for you to do damage. And yes, it is true. I mean, you can get away by doing 100k damage before it gets destroyed, but the only problem is that you won't be able to do more volleys. But aside from that, well, it came free to play, but yeah, it is not the best, let's put it this way. Moving on, just before I continue, I have added a total of 5 tier list over here. Double S, A, B, and C. Okay, so Eternal is considered in number C. Moving on, and now we're going to go to the market, so that way you will be able to see even the prices, and it's going to follow on this. F19, okay, so why am I considering this as a C tier? It has low health. That's pretty much the whole thing. It has low health, so it doesn't have enough in order to test it. It doesn't have enough in order to do all the damage it needs to do. Don't get me wrong, you can do a lot of damage with this. I mean, you used to do a lot of damage with this build, and it has a laser with it, but the only problem is that its health is not enough. It gets destroyed very quickly. So because of that, I would consider F19 at the moment. We love it. I mean, the color and everything is amazing, but aside of that, its health is not the best. So that's why it's in the C tier. Now I'm going to move into the B tier, and it's very convenient. It's next to me over here. Ted BF, and you're going to say, Foxhound, are you crazy? Some people say that this is a very good strike fighter. Okay, hear me out. It has the speed. You can do damage that is constant with some missiles that are anti-flare. That is true. However, health again is very slow. And the speed, I mean, yeah, the speed is good, but what is the speed good at if you are going to die anyways? If you get close, and it's going to go down very quickly. So that's why it's over here. The health is not the best. At most, you are able to, 1 or 2 planes are already down before you even to reach the second round of attacks. So that's why it is over here. Moving on, I am going to put over here the Begin over here. Begin, wonderful strike fighter. It has everything. It can target submarines, it can target planes and everything. And I put it above the TDF. So, it can do everything that pretty much you can do, and I will argue that's even better than a lot of fighters out there that are not going to be in this list. So it is a very capable strike fighter. But bear in mind, as I progress forward, you're going to notice something very important. Some of these strike fighters have almost the same value on altcoins, let's put it this way, right? So Bilgen, if I look at it over here, just to have an idea, if I can find it. Well, I'm not able to find it. But the point is that why would you want to spend your altcoins getting that particular strike fighter if for the same amount of altcoins you can actually get a better one? So that's my rationale over here. I think that in this case, the Biggin, it is a wonderful strike fighter. Here it is, you see, 499. I believe that you can get a better strike fighter with this amount of altcoins. Okay, so that's the rationale. So it's going to apply the same for the 8 tier. Let's move to the 8 tier. This is going to be tricky because it's a mix between good strike fighters that they are fairly expensive or came in a bundle, and at the same time a couple of strike fighters that are cheaper. So what I'm putting lowest in the list, and even though I love it, don't get me wrong, but at the same time I have to consider the advice of you guys, which pains me to do, really. Yeah. So we are going to get the SU. Let me see over here if we can find it very quickly. Yeah, but of course, because it is one of the previous ones. SU 57. This requires a skill in order to use. Even I will put it that you can do some things that even SU 39 can do. I love this strike fighter to heart. I really do. The only issue that this strike fighter has, in my point of view, as the other ones that I'm going to show over here, is pretty much the price tag that has behind it. There are strike fighters that are able to perform better than the SU-57, yeah, for a cheaper price. Don't get me wrong. If you, well, I'm going to make this comparison. If you are able to, for example, you have this thing and then you find out that one of the tiers up there, for example, the SU-39 Flogger, for example, this can perform as equal or better than the SU-39 Flogger. But for someone that does not have the altcoins, then if they have to invest, maybe you should consider getting the Flogger up there. But again, don't get me wrong, I really love this strike fighter. A lot of people hate it because it has the 2 cannons. I actually love it, but I still have to put it over here because people are just people. Okay. So next one, which I don't have, but I have seen a lot of people using it, Equalizer over here. Equalizer. Again, wonderful strike fighter. Again, it has the capability of an SU-39. Now it has a slight of an upgrade because of the bombs that you can throw with it, but it suffers the same problem as I mentioned with the SU-57 price tag, 2,000 altcoins. So if you had to choose between this and another one that is cheaper, then get the cheaper one, right? So that's why it is over here. So those are the ones that are, I mean, they are more expensive, as you can see, but at the same time they will not perform as the ones above, or I mean they can perform as the ones above, but the price tag does not justify it, in my opinion. We're going to go to the next one. Okay, we're going to now show a couple of planes that actually you can get. All right, so let's go with the G56, wonderful plane. It looks amazing, similar to the strike fighter. It has a missile that fires anti-flare, and then you have a couple of other missiles that launch a lot of them. One of them is slightly a nuke. You could consider this that is equal to my next mention over here, or my 2 next mentions, but yeah, it is a very capable strike fighter, let's put it this way. And I will say that this is, again, price-wise, right? It behaves like a strike switch, but it's cheaper than a strike switch. And a lot of people have this because it came in a battle pass. So it's a very capable strike fighter. It's very, very useful. I highly, highly recommend you to use it. To get it, you have to wait for my tier list to go above. But if we move on, right, I think I'm doing well in time. Very good. Pan special strike switch, right? So it's pretty much suffers from the same that I mentioned previously from the other ones. Strike switch is like a G36. While you want to get such expensive strike fighter, if you can use a G36 or even a better strike fighter that is cheaper than this. If we take out the price tag, this is faster. This has a missile that can take out planes. It is wonderful, but it has been nerfed so much that the missiles have a hard time getting into the air defenses. It almost feels that you are playing Russian roulette just a little bit when you use the strike fighter because the missiles are not able to penetrate the defenses. Unless, again, you use another plane to open the air defenses or your allies are attacking a specific ship, it's going to be slightly difficult and it loses the consistency that you need in order to be more competitive. Don't get me wrong, amazing strike fighter with a proper strategy, you can do a lot, but I'm also taking into account consistency over here. Moving on, same problem as strike switch, I would say fencer as well. They are almost as equal as strike fighter, and this one is even trickier for me. I was going to put it higher, but this has a very interesting problem, which is actually not bad. Let me explain. This wonderful thing has guided missiles. This is the first strike fighter that I mentioned in this list that has guided missiles. What is the advantage and disadvantage of these guided missiles on this plane? This plane is fast, and that's its feature. But because it's so fast, you cannot pull up the trick at the beginning. You cannot throw multiple volleys and recharge because it's very, very fast. But it can perform very well. It's a wonderful, again, strike fighter. If you have it, you are not going to, it's going to perform as equal as better as the S rank. And again, just like this, a disclaimer, the reason why these ones are here is just because of the price tag, but they can perform as good as the ones in the S tier. Okay, so that's why it is here, right? But I mean, still, if you have it, it can perform very well. Nothing against Fencer, I actually like it. Moving on, I actually put this in the verge between the A and S tier, and actually surprised me as well. You know, when you use fighters, right, throughout the game, I try to find out what is consistent. I don't feel angry that the strike fighter is not performing as much and you are playing Russian roulette, like for example it happens with the C or B tier. This one in particular, I was very surprised. It can perform as good as the ones on the A tier or even the S tier to some extent. It has all the missiles that you need, it can spam a lot, and the price tag on this thing, the price tag. So if we look on the market, right, there's a lot of weapon on the market over here. It's going to be around less than 500 hard coins over here. Let's look. No, actually no, it's going to start escalated very quickly actually. It is actually very, very good, and of course the price tag is over there. But again, the reason why it is here, now I remember, is exactly because of that. It is more expensive than some of the cheaper versions in the S tier. That's why it is here. But if you have it, if you don't take into account the price tag, let's put it this way, this strike fighter can perform very well. I don't see any downsides to it. I used it recently on a match, on a couple of matches. You are going to see me playing with it. So I didn't find anything with it, like no gimmicks, no tricks, no you need to be skilled or something like that. It needs to do what it needs to do. Simple as that. Yeah, and all its armaments are missiles as well. So you don't even have to worry about pulling out fancy tricks like, you know, using your machine gun to get close or whatever. No, it performs fairly well. But what sets it over here, again, in contrast to the S tier, is their price tag. A couple of strike fighters up there that are cheaper and perform better, or equal as this, for a cheaper price, of course. Moving on now, this is going to be the S tier, right? S tier. And this is going to be interesting. So I'm going to put over here, if we move a little bit over here, we go to the Russian equipment and we are going to find this wonderful thing over here. This is, no, it's not the Jack style. It is this one. MiG 144 flak pack. I was so surprised when subscribers told me to use this strike fighter. They told me, yeah, try it. I'm like, okay, I'm going to try it. I'm not that it's not going to be the best. It's going to be a flop now, but I actually tried it and it's very good, very consistent. I will say that strike fighters on the S tier are able to do something consistent. Why? That's why they are in this tier. They're able to pull off around 150k damage to 250k damage or more, even per plane or squadron that you send. And you want to be consistent. This thing can be extremely consistent and very easy to use. It has the 3 missiles. It has the Gatling gun that you can use. Yeah, recharge speed actually is fairly good. Strike fighter is very decent. Nothing wrong with it. The reload time is very good. Usually strike fighters in this level are going to have a good health, and reload is going to be around 5 to 7 seconds. That's something that you need to take into account when you use a fighter. Look at the reload speed for its missiles. It's something that you need to take into account. 1.44 flat pack, you will not be disappointed again in the market. I will actually say, I mean, I raised a pool. Me in particular, I prefer this one to one that I'm going to mention above even. But again, I have to take out into account the pool. One of my subscribers said, if I was not for that pool, I will pull this even higher. I think it's even better than, I might as well say it, Rombat. I think this is way better than Rombat. I think you can do more with this. It has more speed, very easy to use. Don't get me wrong, it's not like completely better than Rombat, but this one is more flexible, let's put it this way. So this one is here. We are going to move on to the next one, of course, and of course it's going to be the one that I just mentioned right now, right? Let's go into the Rombat, okay? This one, wonderful strike fighter. It can do a lot of damage very close. If you get close, you can pull off around 150 to 200 damage easy. It has the consumable in order for you to survive more. It can take out planes as well. The only problem that it has is that it's fairly slow, but aside of that, it's very easy to use. It can stand in ground, floating. Yeah, so it's actually pretty consistent. It's very easy to use. What is my problem about this strike fighter, if you may ask? And something that the other ones do not suffer as much. It's pretty much the squadron. It's pretty much the health. Because you need to get close, you launch one volley of missiles. But after that, you are going to lose one plane. No, I mean, there's no way around it. And because of that, you're going to lose a lot of damage capability. If you are fighting a group, then you will not be able to do as much damage as you can, like in the type of strike fighter. But this one suffers a little bit more because the beauty of this one is to get close. But you can do very consistent damage. Just find out that the other ones can do slightly better. You also have a situation over here that you have to take into account, right? How long does it take for the strike fighter to actually recharge? And that's something that you need to take into account. This one takes a normal time in order for you to come back into the battleship, but that's not a problem with ACVs. However, with the carriers such as Charles de Gaulle, that can be a problem. But it is good. It is good. Moving on, I am going to mention an underrated strike fighter over here, FS 2020. This one is just wonderful. It's like the MiG 144, but you can do a lot of damage with its missiles, and it has a lot of anti-decoy missiles. So you are able to do a very consistent damage with this strike fighter. It is wonderful. You can just use it, and no matter what happens, you're going to see one thing as soon as I continue going up on the list, is that these strike fighters over here, they can just pull off the damage no matter what. They are consistent, no gimmicks, no tricks. You can, well, there's only one that needs tricks. You will find out which one. But aside of that, I mean, this one just gets the job done, period. And the enemy cannot do anything to avoid its missiles. Yes, I said when I did a review that it was not the best strike fighter when I did that, but afterwards the devs actually give it a little bit of a buff, and actually people totally bypassed it. But actually this is something that I really like to use, between this and the MiG 144, yeah, it's very tricky. Which one will win? I mean, based on the market, right? So let's put it this way. Here we go, for example, Rombat, right? I know it's expensive, 740. MiG 144. Let me see, where is the MiG? Just in case this is the Rombat, if you wanted to use it, right? It has grown a little bit on the market. Yeah. FS 2020 came recently. Should be around here. Let's go slow. Let's take our time. So FS 2020, you see 419, and I would prefer this in contrast to the Rombat, which is insane. You know, it's insane. I would, like, if I had to say, Foxhound, which one you choose, Rombat or this one, I would choose the FS 2020. You are saving yourself some Archons, for Christ's sake. So yes, it is. You really have to take into account, and let alone the MiG 141. I mean, like, I just wonder I could find this very quickly. Yeah, people are starting to notice how good this one is, and now the price has ranked up a little bit. And it is for a reason. It is just a very good strike fighter. So now, I will say, like, you know, when you start playing this game, you have budget strike fighters, right? I mean, strike fighters that, let's say you save a couple of months, you sell your ships, right? And you're able to get some Archons, to get some strike fighters. So up to here, this is something that is affordable. So after that, you fall into the area where you bought a battle pass and you managed to get a strike fighter that is actually very, very, very good, and in the long term is going to be more expensive, or you are going to find yourself using strike fighters that came on bundles. This is going to be the area where pretty much the top 3 are going to be in. So the first case of here, of course, we are going to mention the AL 301. Beautiful strike fighter, beautiful. It has the speed, it can move, it has guided missiles, it can target submarines, it can even attack from afar. You don't even need to get close. It's actually like riding a Ferrari almost. Beautiful as hell. Yeah, you should see that this beautiful light that has in the back as well. No, it's just an outstanding strike fighter. It can take out other planes as well. It can do everything. What is the only problem with this one? Which is at almost the same level as the other ones that I'm going to mention. Price tag. That's pretty much it. Price tag. It came on a bundle, 30 pounds. If you got it, good for you. You have one of the best strike fighters in the game. If not, then you pretty much cannot get this, because it will come on a deals with the Shadows bundle, and then you will need to pay more in order to get this one. So for that particular reason, I mean, if someone got this one, it is better than the other two that I'm going to mention. Well, equal or better. But I also know that a couple of you just didn't get the strike fighter, and for that particular reason, it's going to be almost number 3 in the S tier. Okay. Wonderful strike fighter. But if you didn't get it, then we fall into the realm of strike fighters that came on a battle pass and actually are very good. Actually, they exceeded the expectations, or even my expectations, I would say. So we are going into the second one. It's going to be the MiG-27K Flogger J2. Wonderful strike fighter. Again, it's like the FS 2020. It has so many missiles that it can target. It can pretty much land no matter what. It has the speed. No one can escape it. It's not as good as taking out planes. I used it and actually noticed that you can take out planes, but it's not as good. But it can use wonderful strike fighter, guaranteed damage. The only problem that I have with this one, that this may change in the future because this is not set on stone, is that this has not been nerfed yet. It has not been touched, and when it gets touched, when the devs decide to reduce its damage, then it's going to maybe stay in the same tier or get reduced. But up to this point, wonderful strike fighter. It can do everything that you need over here, and it was cheap. Of course, right now it's going to be more expensive in the market, right? Actually, it's not as expensive, but it should be 731. So that is just insane. If you buy the Strike Fighter, you will not be disappointed. If that's the number two, which is going to be the number one, number one, below the God tier, it's going to be the Harrier. Let's go to the Harrier over here if I can find it. The Harrier is such a wonderful Strike Fighter, but the trick with the Strike Fighter as the MiG, well, that's the caveat. The MiG you can use it straight on. You can use, if you buy it, you start using it, no problem. You can use it and there's no gimmicks and you can do what you need to do. The MiG is a fantastic Strike Fighter. Of course, the only thing it can target is ships. It cannot target air, but it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, you are here to do damage. You are here to destroy. And this thing just destroys everything. I would highly recommend, if there's something that you can get, is the Harrier. It's actually very good. The only issue that I'm having with the Harrier, which it's a tricky because between the MiG and the Harrier, because at the end of the day, as air defenses get stronger, the planes as the Harrier that use guided missiles are the ones that get affected the most, because the guided missiles do not enter the air defenses. But right now it's not the case. We really need like a very high, quick air defenses in order to take this down. So this is going to be king for a couple of months. But I think the MiG in the long term, of course, is going to last longer. But MiG, again, fantastic Strike Fighter. If you use the trick, if you are skilled, you learn how to use guided missiles. Launch the 2 volleys at the beginning. You can do easily 100k damage easy without even getting close to the target and without even bothering about air defense. It is just a fantastic Strike Fighter. There's nothing that can be said about that. So that is the tier list. But wait, focus on. There is one left, right? There is one left, and of course, I mean you have to understand when I put the tier list, right? All these Strike Fighters that I mentioned, all of them, they can, to some extent, there is no bad Strike Fighter. Yes, I mean, I will say in the S tier and A tier, there are no bad Strike Fighters. They can almost equally do almost the same between them. Of course, some better than others, but at the end of the day, they can do the same. Yeah, they can do the same. Easier or harder than others, but you can do the same. But there is one freaking Strike Fighter that simply just stands out. There's no freaking way around it. It's the Su-39. There is simply no way. This is a behemoth. This is a beast. There is nothing can be done. It has everything that you need. Yes, it has a missile that is able to take out planes. So that's covered. It has 2, and the reason why this is so powerful, it has 2 missiles that load so quickly. This one takes 7 seconds and the other one takes almost 6 seconds, and this one takes 7 seconds. They load so quickly. For the damage that they do, it is insane. It has such a powerful cannon that you can use in order to even do more damage, but most above anything else, it has the highest durability of every single Strike Fighter out there, almost around 30k health or HP or whatever you want to call it. It is a beast. But of course, this came with a heavy price tag, and of course it's unreachable, and it costed like so much money. Bless the people that got this thing when for less money. But this is in a completely different tier. That I just have to say, it's in a completely different tier than the other Strike Fighters. There is no freaking way that this is equal to the other ones. It simply has everything that you need, in my opinion. And the most important thing, like, it spawns very quickly, very quickly. In Charles de Gaulle, it is even essential, because if you have 2 of them, because once the first Strike Fighter goes down, well, guess what? The other ones are already set and ready to go. You don't have to wait nothing. So this is pretty much very deadly on a Charles de Gaulle or something like a Nemesis. So this is king, of course, unreachable. But don't worry, you don't need to get this in order to be competitive. All the ones that I mentioned before in the S tier are very, very, very good. The Harrier, the MiG, I would highly recommend even the MiG, the FS 2020, or the MiG Flogger or Harrier if you have the resources. They can do what you need. So I hope that you enjoyed this tier list. So what I'm going to right now is I'm going to show you an image of the tier list, and I'm going to give my final comments. Lovely. Okay, so based on the video that I mentioned previously, this is the final tier list that I came up. Of course, I understand that it doesn't have all the strike fighters in the game. I could include all the strike fighters in the game, but there is something that I have to tell you or to consider, is that if you want me to add some strike fighter, you can, but I think that something that will not move at all, I think, is the SS tier or the S tier. Of course, you can tell me why or why not, or whatever, but I think the S tier is some, like, what I consider the best strike fighters at the moment. Of course, things can change. Regarding the new strike fighter that just came out with the bomb, I will put it in a high A, or even, I was even below the GHXX. I'll put it over there because, again, air defenses and tricky and things like that. Of course, you can do a lot of damage with it, but the GXXS can do more consistent damage. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. Please leave in the comments what you think. Aside of that, thank you very much for watching. This is version 1 of the tier list. Of course, I think I will continue doing more in the future. For now, I am signing off. Thank you very much for watching. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. This is Foxhound signing off. Have a good day, everyone.